Okay, everybody right here. We're gonna we're gonna end lunch, networking, brainstorming, and we're gonna do a little sharing out. So I appreciate everybody following the script and kind of diving into the topics. Let me ask you, overall, was this a good idea to have this background information in advance and then sign tables? I'm seeing some nods. Is that all? That's good? It's highly prescriptive, but okay. All right, so what we're going to do in the next 25 minutes or so is really just have some table report outs on the topics. And so we've got 5 topics, and we want to hear some headlines. What did you guys think? You want to tie it back to the speakers? That's great. Or share your ideas. I want to make sure that we get all the table notes. So you had an official note taker, and you can leave the notes on the table, but we just want to make sure that they stay in the room. All right, and again, what we're going to do is take all of your input, and it's going to help inform really the next step of this plan that we're putting together, our 2.0 Global Internet Hub plan. So why don't we start just start in order with table number 1. Is there someone from a table number 1 that would like to share? And we've got our chamber friends helping. We got microphones, so we'll go through this. I'm not going to hear from every single table. We don't have time, but how about table 1? Anybody want to start? This is the part where y'all participate, right? Okay. Okay, go, Scott. Microphone.
The video case studies was very well received on our table. They thought those were incredibly informative and a great direction to head toward. And also maybe some more quarterly events that could be more educational. Very much mini convergence, I guess, would be along those same lines. So we're still working through all the details on all of our stuff, but mini convergence, yeah, little convergence. But the video case studies, that was one of the biggest ones.
Great.
And we were under the connecting data, but it was still that communication, that whole part of it, and how the infrastructure is working. So that pretty much a couple topics we touched on.
Okay, fantastic. All right, why don't we'll just keep moving around. How about table 2, and then we'll come back in order back around a couple of times. So table 2. Okay.
Oh.
Nancy.
You are Nancy. Yeah, with 3 Brians at my table, I don't know how I got volunteered. But before I volunteer what our table talked about, I do have to make one comment back to this morning. We actually in Hampton Roads have a really unique talent initiative. It's called Start in Hampton Roads. You guys can all look it up. It's a landing page, and it's all around retaining and attracting talent into Hampton Roads by talking about the amazing, unique assets, the quality of life, the jobs, and all the activities. So stay tuned, a lot more to come, but I just simply had to make that comment. Back to my table, we had obviously energy, and we are fortunate to have some excellent marketing people who could boil down our comments into 4 key words. And they are, and this is the role for RVA 757. The first one is to articulate the vision and actually embrace the fact that RVA 757 wants to be all in on energy, all in on energy, and also lean into the capital stack idea. The energy stack, the unique one, is a key part. It's really both. So all of the above, but also focus on these new energies that we have unique assets. So number 1, articulate. Number 2, update. We feel like we need to have a lot more data about what the real energy needs are in the RVA 757 region. We have some of that in Hampton Roads already. The Alliance had done a study about 2 years ago with Go Virginia money, but probably needs to be fresh, and we need a reliable set of information quickly. So number 2 is update. Number 3, educate. A lot about that in several key audiences. Our elected officials, obviously our communities, our city leaders, and our K through 12. Our teachers, our parents, our students. So a lot of role there. 4th and final, accelerate. And that's what can we really do, again, RVA 757, to support speeding up the investments that are needed in some of these key attributes and key areas. And so those are our 4 words.
Wow.
Articulate, update, educate, and accelerate.
Fantastic. All right, how about a table number 3? Okay, go ahead. What table number 2? All right, this is on empowering data. So who? Go ahead. Put the microphone close.
I need a new team
Yay.
back here. We just wanted to add one thing. One of the things we thought that would be helpful, because we know as these projects are proposed in the different communities, they're going to be advocacy groups that tend to oppose them. One of the speakers said earlier, everything is opposed. And so we thought it might be helpful if this organization met with some of those groups that it's foreseeable that they would oppose those efforts in advance, to include them in the conversations and the planning in advance. And maybe that might help offset some of their opposition when that day comes. And I also like to point out, it's kind of weird because Nancy and I were on a panel on Saturday, and here we are sharing question number 2.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Stan Blackwell's here, and Greg and I, and Stan, and also Virginia Natural Gas. We get called in to go to planning commission hearings and even some supervisors meetings and try to do the best we can. It's usually in the heat of the moment, and so that's where the database idea came in. And so we're really excited to launch that and to keep adding to that. But I think you're right. We got to somehow scale this and educate people before it becomes a hot issue. So thank you for that. That's great. All right, how about table 3? Do we have a table 3? Okay.
Okay, so we have a lot of expertise around this table, including city people. It was super important because one of the things we were talking about was how do we look at this problem as as more of a holistic, at what we techies would call systems of systems. The people plus the infrastructure plus the companies we're trying to bring in, we can't silo them as, well, let's just get people or let's track companies. We need to think of how they all interact together so that we can have it be everyone wins benefit. So one of the things we were talking about was how could we better attract big companies to come here to Williamsburg, or the I-64 Innovation Corridor.
Yeah.
Is that right? And one of the things that we discussed was, how about tax incentives? How about tax incentives either for a big company like a Google to have remote workers hosted here? Then Virginia could be state, but Virginia would give tax credits for you hosting in certain cities. In certain cities, you get more tax credits than others because we don't need more up north. We need more down here.
Right.
And so we could do it at state levels to encourage businesses to bring remote folks here, or to encourage local businesses to hire local as well. We also talked about how we can get, for recruiting kids, get kids at high school, start at high school and have them interning at companies, at different types of companies, and get them involved in industry. High school through, and you heard Dr. Schmidt and others talk about doing that kind of stuff. But we really need to get the university systems involved in what's happening here, in this critical infrastructure that is critical. It's the only way that this data-centric world is going to survive.
Yep.
And so, and on top of that is security as well. I mean, we're the security table, but we feel that we have the highest number of cybersecurity talent, but are they working on protecting our huge asset, which is the critical infrastructure?
Right.
So let's even get the universities involved in that and get students' projects focused on innovations in securing critical infrastructure and data.
Yeah.
So that we can rise to the top and be seen as not only just having the best infrastructure, but the most secure and the most resilient.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. How about a table number 4? Is there a table 4 spokesperson? Everybody's pointing to Sarah Jane. How about that?
that's super nice, isn't it? You know who your friends are, don't you? So we talked about, from our perspective, that it's really important that when we talk about AI, if we want to double down, we've got to look at where our strengths are. So if we look at our strengths in the Hampton Roads region, we're obviously looking towards, obviously, maritime, or if we go with our deal from the playbook, so defense, if I can actually, thank you, energy, aerospace and logistics. Thank you, Drew. You should have done this. And then when we look from the Richmond perspective, it's the fintech sector. It's also the biomed sector too. And how do we basically let those all kind of play with each other? And it's those cross-cutting like thrust areas where we can actually double down. But going to what Nancy started with her words is we have to be authentic. So our word is authenticity. Mapping, so I think it's really important perhaps for us to look as an organization about how we map where the AI capabilities are so that we know where we are starting at and then we can also see where we're headed. And then the last piece of this is the storytelling piece, and I think that this is going to be really important. So RVA 757 Connect could actually be the mic to share with the world what we're doing here with regards to AI capabilities. So.
Great.
Did I do okay on that?
Yeah, that's really great. We kind of see that as a best practice, the idea of mapping the assets. This is where we are now. And it often surprises a lot of people when they see just how much there is. Okay. All right. So how about table number 5? Over here. Great. Greg Garrett.
All right, so our job was to work on ensuring that the data benefits all. And one of the things that we're very impressed with, that it's very meaningful, I believe, in terms of the culture of RVA 757 Connects, is that one of the very earliest first things that happened, and only happened because we were a mega region, is PCs for people. And so that is very significant that we're not just looking at bringing all the businesses in and bringing in the revenue, but we have a recognition from the very beginning as an organization, and part of our DNA, part of our culture is we're going to lift people up from all levels and really intentionally lift people up at the lowest levels of people that right now don't even have a PC inside of our mega region. We were particularly impressed with the suggestions that the staff put together. And we said, there's not that much more that we can really add to these possible next steps that were on our sheet. So we were very impressed. But one of the things that we said that when we looked at and analyzed the different steps that we could take is it says map digital equity gaps by zip code to guide device distribution and training investments. And what we said is we have to go deeper than zip codes. Take a gentrifying neighborhood, right? That's a zip code that has people that are living in $1 million houses, $1.5 million houses, and people that still haven't left their $300,000 house on the same block, potentially. And so to go more granular and look deeper than zip codes and figure out ways to find people. And one of the ways that it was suggested that we do that is work with community leaders, church leaders, other thought leaders, inside of the individual communities, and not just look at it as zip code to zip code, because we think we'll miss a lot of people. So that's it.
Great. Well, thank you, Greg. All right. And we're going to hear a little bit from PCs for People this afternoon, so that'll be great. So why don't we go back to number 1, here we go, Marcellus. This is Marcellus Nixon, who heads up the Southside Network Authority.
Thank you. We had some different conversations going on about connecting data at our table. So we have a salesperson, we have an economist, and we have 2 engineers. So if you can imagine how that conversation went. So from the salesperson perspective, we feel like we have to share real world examples of how connecting data it helps everyone. And also, from an economist perspective, we have to incentivize the behavior that we want to see. So an example that we talked about was a lot of times we need our politicians to get behind any story in order for us to make progress on it, right? So figure out a way to how those particular politicians are incentivized and then double down on how to bring that to fruition, right? And then the third is benchmarking against global or national regions. So you heard about that earlier in the conversation that John was talking about his time in Portugal. And you also heard the four gentlemen that were on the second segment earlier today talking about how the internet first evolved and how it's moving to more global today. So we have three examples there, and that's the input from our table.
That's great. Thank you very much. All right. So, number two, is there another number two? Okay. I can get you this mic right here.
So again, we have the powering the data, and we really focus on a few things. First of all, why we're doing all of that? Because of the global internet hub, so we don't have a choice. So without the data, without the power, it's not going to work. So I think the big comment that came from our table was we all need to support the energy, and we all need to support the actual strategy of where we're going. So we'll need the help from all of you guys, but also need the help of really from this list of the 5 things of educating, advocating, and informing of where we're going, so everybody understands in the bigger picture at the state level, but also in the communities as well, so everybody's on board with that. Energy demand is accelerating, so we need all source of the energy, and that comes again with the education. So how we can do that with the RVA 757 is really providing the research-based information. And why we're doing this is to really align the strategy and align the investments of where that needs to be coming. And then how we can get this, and that's another comment that came from our table, was how we can get this. The biggest comment that we've heard today was streamlining the permitting. And that's really going to take all of the localities, it's going to take all of the state level and beyond to really find a way how we streamline the permitting. And then going back to that tracking and reporting results, that will be a great story to show how we streamline, for example, data center permitting from 12 or 15 months to 6 or 8, right? Same with the energy. So really multiple steps approach through the education to the actual results with the permitting.
Terrific. Thank you, Peter. All right. So table number 3, have a number 3 and one more table number 3 report out. We got time for 2 more. 3. Going once. 4. Table number 4. Anybody else? Okay, in the back there.
Here you go.
Put your hand up again.
No. Okay, here you go. So one of the things that we've been talking at our table is a lot about literacy, and you can connect people as much as you want, but unless they actually know how to use it and know how to be able to see through the misinformation, that's the only way any of this work is going to be effective. I just stress the education, and that's what most of us at our table are educators. So I don't know if that's the answer you wanted, but that's what we came up with.
No, it's a theme here. It's just we got to do a better job educating, communicating, informing. You know, I just don't know how many people realize, like, that energy panel, just how innovative Virginia is, and all of those initiatives is just astounding. So we've got to just do a better job reaching out. Okay, well, one last one for table 5. One more, table 5, to wrap it up.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming. My name is Darrell Powell, representing PCs for People. I want everybody to do me a favor real quick. I want you to close your eyes, if you could. I want you to go back and remember Christmas. Remember when you was a little boy, a little girl, you get your favorite gift, tearing the paper off and everything? I want you to remember that and understand what we go through at PCs for People. The next cyber genius that these people were talking about, they're somewhere in a low-income neighborhood waiting to get a PC. They're waiting, just like people come from China, India, Africa. poor, but they got it done and got their education. We're shipping them over here. They're already here. I want you guys to reach out to PCs for People because all of the stuff that one may say regarding, I like to do something for people in low-income neighborhoods. Here we are, PCs for People. We are your connection. Please, look us up. We're in Hampton. My name is Daryl Powell. Everybody at RV 757 know us. Look us up and make that connection. God bless you guys, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Daryl, and we'll hear a little bit on PCs for People, an update on where you guys are. Okay, well, thank you guys for doing that. Please leave your notes on your table when you leave, but don't leave yet. We've got a couple of more sessions to go. We're going to move into thinking about what does it mean to transform data with AI, and then also ensuring everybody benefits from this. But before we do,